Welcome to the video demonstration of how to play Nine Worlds, a new prototype game from Medusa Games that will be on display this weekend at UK Games Expo. This is the board for Nine Worlds, showing some artwork from Gillian Pearce. This is probably not going to be the final version of the artwork. It's actually adapted from my Nine Worlds books, but suits the purpose fine for this weekend. The idea of Nine Worlds is that you represent one of the worlds in the Norse universe, and your job is to take over as many of the worlds as possible and to get your armies or your minions, as represented by these cubes, into as many of the Nine Worlds as possible, to try and take over the Nine Worlds and to have more cubes overall and more points than anybody else. So at the start of the game, we first of all find out who everybody is. Over here on the right hand side we have three cards, the green card for Alfheim, the white card for Asgard, and the red card for Muspelheim. These have been randomly drawn from the nine cards for the Nine Worlds. So you start off with a card, take all the coloured cubes in that colour and put them in a pile called a reserve, and then take one cube from the reserve and place it on your player card, like that. You then take a cube and you place it on the world that matches your colour, along with a pawn in the same colour. This then is the setup done for starting the game. The game is played with a set of cards, and there are 9 suits of 9 cards each, and again the colours match the 9 worlds. You shuffle together the deck and you deal out to the players a certain number of cards dependent on the number of players. If we were playing a 3-player game like this, we would be dealing out 15 cards. You then progress through a sequence of tricks which matches the sort of gameplay in whist. So somebody chooses a card and leads with that card. If the other players can follow suit, in this case say a blue card, you would have to follow suit with any blue cards that you have. If you cannot follow suit, you're then at liberty to play any of the cards in your hand. There are no trumps except in one circumstance that I will come to. Now, when you play your card, you follow the instructions that are on the card. All of the cards all have these instructions along the top. So at the start of every single card play, the player may move a pawn between 2 adjacent worlds, and the worlds are linked by these black lines. Every world connects with 3 worlds, apart from Midgard, which connects with all of the other 8 worlds. So, by playing this card, you may move a pawn between adjacent worlds, or you may take a cube from your reserve, the reserves are over here, and add it to your card, your player card. That's going to be important later in the game. If you have 4 cubes on your player card, you may transfer one of them to the world that you are on. That's what that symbol means. So this is on every single card. Everybody does that. It's a choice of those 3 initial actions. Then you go on to do a number of actions which varies dependent on the actual cards that you play. So in the case of this card, the symbol at the bottom here means you may move the pawn and or put a cube on the world you are on. In this case, you may banish a cube to Helheim. Helheim is at the bottom of the whole board here, and you don't want to go there because every cube that's there counts against you. This card here allows you to exchange cubes between adjacent worlds and or put a cube on your card. With this card you can place a cube on the world you are on, or put 2 cubes onto your player card over there. With the 8 you can move cubes between one world and an adjacent world, just 1 cube, and then if the card you are playing does not match the trick colour, whatever the colour of the card that started the trick is, then you are allowed to do an extra action, in this case put a cube on the world you are on. The 9 card, you can add a cube to your card, and then if again the card you're playing does not match the trick colour, you may put a cube on any world. One card, you can put 2 cubes on the world you are on, or 1 cube on any world. The 2 card, you may put 1 cube on the world you're on, and or move a cube between worlds. And finally, this card, you can put a cube on the world you're on, and or add a cube to your reserve. So there are combinations of different actions that you can do, which all add cubes to the worlds, move cubes between worlds, exchange cubes, banish cubes, and then add cubes to your reserve. So everyone is doing that and gradually building up cubes in the 9 worlds. You're doing this because you're trying to take control of as many of the worlds as possible to have the majority number of cubes on the worlds. All of the cards are the same. The same icons are on all of the 1 cards. The same icons are on all of the 2 and the 3 and so on. So they're all identical. So there are 9 different cards, but in 9 different colours. So once you have played the trick, everyone has played their card. One person will have won the trick. In that event, they get to do a bonus action, and that bonus action is that they may add a cube to the trick world. We started with the blue card, so it would be the blue world of Vanaheim. Or you can move any cube to an adjacent world, or remove a cube and banish it to Helheim, or move your own cube from Helheim back to your player card. So you do that at the end of the trick. You then start a new trick by going to the player to your left. You don't go with the player who won the trick. You go to just continue rotating clockwise around the table. Eventually you get to a situation when there are 5 or more cubes on a particular world. Let's say the situation is like that. They don't all have to be the same colour. In this case, in Alfheim, we have 5 cubes. 3 are white, 1 is red, 1 is green. Now there are 5 cubes in Alfheim. This now activates the world powers. Each of the worlds has their own powers. And when there are 5 cubes on a world, whoever has the most cubes, the sole majority in that world, then they get to use the world power. If there gets to be more than 5 cubes, there is first of all a battle until you get down to 5 cubes. And the way you do that is that you start with the player to the left of whoever won the trick and ask them if they've got a cube in that world. If they do, they have to remove it. And you carry on doing that until you get down to 5 cubes. Then when there are 5 cubes, that world's power can be activated. And the world's powers give strong abilities to manipulate the gameplay. Asgard's world power is the ability to be immune to any of the other world powers, to give you protection from them. Vanaheim's world power is to bring a cube back from Helheim. Alfheim's world power is to move a cube between worlds, from any world to any world. Midgard's power is to exchange cubes from any world to any world. They don't have to be adjacent. Jotunheim's power is to steal a cube. You literally replace a cube with the cube of your own colour. In Nidavellir power is to add a cube to the world that you are on. Muspelheim's power is to destroy a cube. Literally move it off the board. Svartalfheim's power is to determine what the trump is for the next suit. Remember I said there aren't trumps in the 9 worlds. Well, there are if the world power of Svartalfheim is activated, in which case whoever controls Svartalfheim can determine a trump suit for the following trick, and only that following trick. Finally, the Niflheim world power is to banish a cube to Helheim. So what you do then is that you carry on playing tricks. After the trick, somebody gets to use the trick power. Then everybody gets to use the world powers if they control any worlds, and then you start the new trick. And you carry on doing that until you've run through all of the cards. Once that happens, you add a cube to the world that you end up on. You then resolve the world power phase for the last time, and then you score up. Now when you score up, you score up by using a chart here. I'll show you from here, which is at the top here. Oops, there we are. So in the case of any cubes that you have in Helheim, you lose a point. If you have cubes on your player card, the player cards over here, they gain you a point. That's why it's important to add cubes to the card. Any cubes anywhere in the Nine World give you 2 points, and then if you share the lead for a world, then you get 3 points. If you control the world, if you have more cubes than anyone else, you don't need to have 5 cubes to control the world, just to have more cubes than anybody else, then you get 5 points. And that you then add all that up, and that determines the victory conditions for the 9 worlds. As I say, interested in feedback on the game. We have the feeling at the moment that the game is quite well advanced, but we always welcome more play testing, more feedback on the balance of the world powers, comments on artwork and so on that might go into the final version. Thank you.